events that made 20th century.
The Queen moves past them on her way to the chair of his state, which she is to occupy for the early part of the ceremony. The first necessary step in the traditional ritual is that the Queen should be accepted by the people. The Archbishop of Canterbury addresses the congregation.
Sirs, I here present unto you Queen Elizabeth, your undoubted Queen. Wherefore all you who are come this day to do your homage and service, are you willing to do the same?
The people have recognized their sovereign, and now the Archbishop administers the coronation oath.
Madam, is your Majesty willing to take the oath?
I am willing.
Will you solemnly promise and swear to govern the peoples of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the Union of South Africa, Pakistan and Ceylon, and of your possession and the other territories to any of them belonging or pertaining, according to their respective laws and customs?
I solemnly promise so to do.
The promise is sealed at a faldstool before the altar. The Queen kisses the book and signs the form of oath.
The coronation of Queen Elizabeth II shows the political tradition of power, the hierarchical position as the royal blood, and it shows respect as member of the monarch family in the European community, and it shows the first live telecast. Then it also shows the legality of the successors to put into the position, and lastly, it shows capabilities to control the state.
The evacuations from Dunkirk so successful, and are the myths surrounding the operation to be believed? And to be fair to the Allies, they hadn't had much luck so far. 2 weeks previously, Germany began its invasion of the Low Countries, with French and British forces then moving into Belgium to meet them. However, this attack was just a diversion. Using cutting-edge blitzkrieg tactics, German tanks smashed through the Allied weak point in the Ardennes and dashed to the coast, surrounding the Allies. But time was against them. The German spearhead that had cut the Allies off then began taking Channel ports despite desperate Allied attempts to hold on to them. By May 26th, Dunkirk was the final port remaining.
The Dunkirk evacuation is the effects of war. It also shows power and support for safety, and also security among the people and forces. And it also shows the strategy and how to analyze the battle and technique. And it shows legal protection and security, and to avoid bigger damage.
We are against Israel, and we will never help Israel. We will cut off our diplomatic relation. However, sending our army against Israel in any future probable war needs a thorough study, and at this time, I do not have anything to say on that.
Let me explore a little bit possible future relations with the United States. The Ayatollah has made some remarks about American bases interfering with Iranian independence. He has said that among those who violate human rights, there's no doubt that in the present age this is Carter, referring, I take it, to the president. And I just would like to understand whether he expects friendly or chilly relations with the United States.
If the United States government sees the continuation of the policy that they have had and do not support the Shah, which has committed so much crime and treason to the country and has appointed the illegal government, which the American government is supporting it. So if they seize that one and they start to have better relation with us and have friendly relation with us, then according to our Islamic teaching, there is no reason for us to be in animosity with them.
This event shows the power and religion and the economic control in establishing the Islamic State, and shows how Muslim countries support Islamic faith and tradition. And it also shows arms and beliefs, and the legality on how to support in establishing the Islamic countries, and protection of resources against other nations.
Is the story of a man who made it to the White House from humble beginnings, and of a wife who became a contender for the presidency. It's also a story of political destruction and personal survival. Bill Clinton's first term as US president began in 1993 after he beat the Republican George Bush Sr. Bill won a second term in 1996. There were trophies and triumphs, but there were attacks on the Clintons' integrity by their right-wing enemies.
I've always said, you know, we lost money.
Their financial dealings were questioned and friendships investigated.
Lose money.
Bimbo eruptions scandalized Bill's presidency and led to his impeachment. Jennifer Flowers and Paula Jones preceded the devastating exposures surrounding Monica Lewinsky, the affair that Bill tried to deny.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
His betrayals cost Hillary the presidency. Barack Obama became President of the United States, while Hillary settled for the lesser role of Secretary of State.
On Tuesday. Thank you, and God bless you all.
The impeachment of Bill Clinton shows political partisan and political distraction. And it also shows the control of the status of the states and changes whoever control the position. And it shows the capacity on defending the case and the legality on how judicial process to prove the evidences presented and the strong belief and ambition.
Today, Tutankhamun is the most famous name of all these ancient kings. But during his lifetime, historians believe he was insignificant.
He was a kid, 9, 10, 11 years old, the little-known, relatively minor pharaoh.
Yet Tutankhamun's tomb transformed his fate.
This young boy king became one of the most powerful symbols in Egyptological history.
Kent Weeks has spent 40 years studying the Valley of the Kings. Kent and teams of archaeologists are working to resolve a crucial mystery. How did Tutankhamun's tomb transform the boy king from a minor pharaoh to one of the most celebrated men in history? Kent believes the first clue lies in how the tombs in the valley are decorated. In ancient Egyptian beliefs, the journey to the afterlife begins as the sun sets. The pharaoh takes the route of the sun as it passes down into the underworld. Armed with spells from the walls of the tomb, he faces many challenges, including a lake of fire and a giant serpent. Most Egyptians would then face the most rigorous test, to have their heart weighed against the feather of truth. But the pharaoh was thought to be exempt. When he reaches the end, a parade of gods welcomes him to the afterlife. He is transformed into the sun god and the sun can rise again. With the spells and prayers on the walls of the tomb acting like a guidebook for the pharaoh, the ancient engravers couldn't make a single mistake.
When you look at these relief carvings, even something as straightforward as columns of hieroglyphic text, the first thing I think that strikes a person is the care, the attention to detail. The birds are meticulously shown. You can identify species of birds from the way they're depicted. The care is important because these texts are important.
Most royal tombs are just as extensively decorated, with incredible attention to detail. But surprisingly, the tomb of Tutankhamun, the most famous tomb in the valley, is far less impressive. Tutankhamun's tomb is just 4 small chambers, each no more than 14 feet wide. At the heart of the tomb is a sparsely decorated burial room, modestly painted and with no carvings. Hidden in the walls, mysterious niches once held sacred statues. A Shabti, to come to life as the pharaoh's servant, and the jackal god of the dead, Anubis. Tutankhamun's burial chamber is filled with magical decoration, but beside it, the rest of the tomb is left bare. This simple tomb is unlike any other royal tomb in the valley.
This event shows the ancient power and respect to the dead body of the pharaoh, and distinguish the life of pharaoh with how they preserve the body. And it also shows the connection of their beliefs to the afterlife of the ancient leaders, and the use of the modern techniques and identifying the artifacts, and to connect the ancient texts with the remains. And it also preserved the location of the Valley of the Dead. Thank you very much and have a good day.